Hello, Teacher Raquel here. I am going to talk to you today about passing your initial demo video for Qkids. You're submitting your application, you're submitting your resume, your computer specs, your availability, and a recorded demo. First, before I jump into that, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Also, quick note, don't judge my hair. I recently had surgery on my elbow, which means I can't bend it, which also means I can't use my straightener. So no judgment. Okay, back to your demo video. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you keep it to 1 to 2 minutes. They don't want it any longer than 2 minutes. Within those 2 minutes, you've got to be able to introduce yourself, give them a little bit about your background, and read a children's story. Let's get started. First things first, you're going to talk about yourself. Remember that you are recording this demo to sell yourself to them so that they will want to know more about you. They will want to move you to the interview process. And in the long run, get yourself hired. So I would start mine something like this. Hello, my name is Raquel Abernathy. I live in Kansas with my husband and our 4 children. I have a bachelor's degree in management, and I also have an associate's degree in marketing. I have experience training adults as I worked in management for several years. I ran several training programs, and I also have experience with tutoring my own children, preparing them for kindergarten, preparing them for preschool. I'm not going to go into everything, but that is kind of how I would start. I try to keep that part to about 30-45 seconds so that you have some time to read your book. You are not going to have time probably to read an entire book unless it is very, very short. It could end up cutting you off. Make sure you stick to those 2 minutes. They don't want it any longer than that. And if they want to see more, they will send you an email and ask you to record more. Let's move on to reading your book. Okay, so I said reading a book. You can tell a story. People have looked them up on the internet. I did choose to go with a book because it allowed me to show how I would handle kind of reading and pointing and different things. The things you do want to make sure you are doing, regardless of what you end up doing for this, is that you are speaking clearly and you are enunciating. It is so important to keep in mind that you are applying to teach English to children in China. They are going to learn to speak English based off of how they hear you speak. So let's get started on what I would do and how I would read. Today, I'm going to read you one of my favorites, Peppa and the Big Train. Today, Peppa and her friends are going on a train ride together. Hooray! They all cheered excitedly. Mr. Rabbit is the station master. He checks all the tickets. Tickets, please. Chug, chug, choo, choo, doot, doot. Miss Rabbit is driving the train. Now I know I look cheesy, but I'm telling you, this is what they want to see. And this is how I imagine you probably already read to your kids anyway. I know I do. My kids laugh and think that my voices are ridiculous, but I always try to make sure I make them, and they've always loved it. They love it when I do story time. So that's exactly how I would read that. Here comes the big train, cheers Peppa. All aboard, says Mr. Rabbit. So don't be scared that you're gonna look silly, because you probably are to the outside world, but to the world of online ESL, you look completely normal, I promise. So there you have my tips for what you can do to pass your initial recorded demo and make it to the Demo 1 interview. I will be posting about that a little bit later in a different video. So I hope that you will come back to my channel, since you've hit the subscribe button, to check it out once I have it up. Thanks everyone.